So before I start stitching, that's sewing. Before I start sewing, I'm gonna match the notches, right? So this is my side front. I'm gonna attach it to my center front. Right side with right side, and I marked to make sure I know what the right side is. So I did an M for medium because this bustier is medium. So I'm going to match my waist notches first, and I'm gonna use a pin, and then I'm just gonna come up, and I have my my notches for the top, for the bust. So I'm gonna match my notches, and I'm going to pin, and then I'm gonna come up, and I'm gonna match my upper notch to my upper notch. And right now, the side front on around the bust, it's bigger, right? It's like about half an inch bigger, just to make room for the side, for the bust to fit in. This is called ease, so I have a little bit of ease on my side front. So what I'd like to do is, like, I'm gonna push the ease in, and I'm going to pin in the center. So I have this crease right here, so I'm gonna pinch it in the middle, and you'll see how the ease are starting to go inside that the side front, the center front. So I'm gonna pinch there. So right here the ease is already gone, right? So now I'm going to pinch here. There's a lot of ways to do this, right? This is what I prefer, what I like. We can always run a running stitch, like half an inch away from the bust notches, and just pull the thread and ease it in. We can even use the bigger piece under the feed dogs, because remember, feed dogs attracts more fabric than what they need to pull in. So we can do that too, but I like this method. It gives me more control over the fabric. So there it is, and you can see the all the ruffling there. That's the ease. So that's my center front. So that's my center front, and that's my side front. So I'm gonna do it again, but this time I'm just gonna do it. Cool. All right. So it's done. I like to sew my side front to the top. So this piece I'm gonna start it from the bottom up. I'm gonna sew at 1/2 inch marking. So I need to make sure everything matches perfect. And my machine is already set up. I have it set up to the needle is in the center, and I'm using 2.8 on the stitch length, and the needle, I have a top stitch needle, a size 12. Sometimes I use the jean needle that is a little thicker, 16, just because the fabric it's thicker. It's 1/2 inch, and I'm using white and black thread just so you can see the black thread. I don't do that. I use a cream. What I like to do here, I get my chopstick and I just hold it in the front of the presser foot, just right before it goes in. That way it will create a little bit more pressure and it will not wrinkle. And I just turn it as I go. I'm not worried about this yet, because once I get there, then I'm gonna fix it. I just need to make sure my needle doesn't break once the pins are going through. Okay, I'm just gonna fix it and pull it together. So there's my first piece. I check to make sure the stitching is perfect. I pull needles out. As you can see, this is the ease. That's why it looks kind of wavy, wrinkly there. Not wrinkled, wavy. And this is it. And that's one. So I'm gonna finish them all. I'll be back. Once I have all the pieces sewn together, I need to sew the center front. Alright, so now it's the same thing. I'm gonna match my waist first. waist. And I'm gonna start sewing from the top down. And what I like to do, I have that marking there. That means that I have 5/8 on the top seam allowance and 1/2 inch on the center front. I like to do this seam on the front just because it gets closer to the body, and even if the customer that it has a more flatter stomach, then we can change the shape of this line. Or even if the customer has a little bit of a tummy, that line we can even put it deeper and it will push the stomach in. Right. So let's see. And I'm just sewing at 1/2 inch. I changed the black thread to that natural tone because it was driving me crazy. Okay, so I'm almost done with this. So I'm sewing at 1/2 inch. Finish it up. My foundation, center back, side back, side front, center front. It's all together. It's just one whole piece. So before I go to the ironing board, I'm going to sew the bra cup. The bra cup, we're just gonna abut it together. We're not gonna add, I don't have any seam allowance here because it's supposed to be without it, because we don't need to add more width to the stitching. So I'm gonna use a zigzag. So I'm gonna use the widest zigzag that you have in your sewing machine, and probably the stitching, I like to use the widest, and probably in 2.5 on the length and the stitch length. Right. So this is my center, my side front, right? Side front. That one sews to my center front. In this occasion, I don't have right or wrong side of the fabric, so whichever side, it will be the right or the wrong side. What is important is the shape of the bra cup. You can label them, or you can just start sewing. See, and you can see it, right? If I sew this one like this, it looks more like this part is going down. If I sew it the other way, see how it looks like it's going up? So it needs to be like this, right? Because it looks more rounded. And once it's done, I'm gonna go and clean it up a little more. Okay, but let me start with this first. So get a little closer. So I'm using the widest zigzag, and I'm gonna start on the very top, and I'm just gonna abut it together. I'm not gonna overlap it. I'm just gonna abut it together. Cool. Out of the way. And you're gonna see how it's gonna start cupping. That's what I want, right? Because I need to create the bra cup. So this is my bra cup right here. See how it cupped. Of course, we're gonna clean it up and do all that stuff once we press it, because we need to press this before we sew it onto the foundation. I'll do one more, and then I'll do the rest of it off screen. So I'm just gonna abut it together. Let me get a little closer. And we do this kind of stitching so loose like that because once it's sewn onto the foundation, we need for this to give a little bit of movement also, right? Because once we add all the boning and all the stuff that we need, it gets a little bit stronger. Okay, so let me sew this now. I said, yeah. Okay, so remember, we're gonna abut it. Whoops. This one for you guys to see it. And then I do the other half of the camera. Okay, so I'm abutting it together. I need to hold my threads so they don't make a mess underneath. Cut the threads. There. Center front, side back, and center back. And that's half of it.